back to the Reading Corner here on Dreamers Defy. We are, of course, reading Peaceful Warrior, the Canaan Bower Story by Mary Haarmeyer and Craig Beeman. Now, before we do anything else, drop down into the comments, type hashtag BeACanaan right there in it, and then come right back, and here we are. You can just let it play while you do that. That's fine, too. Now, if this is your first time here, those of you who've been around, you know that I'm getting ready to send all the new ones to the very first video. That's the introduction in chapter 1 video. It's in this list, so you can start and stop wherever you want, however much you want. So go there, do that, catch up to us. We will be here. We're on chapter 22 today, 2 and 2. That's always a fun time. But I do want to talk about another fun time, and that fun time is, of course, my buddy Draco right here, who's sitting over my shoulder on the back of the chair. And that is his Storytime Adventure book. And that little black box right behind the book, well, that's kind of a box of magic. And it comes from Of Stars and Magic Publishing. And we're going to be giving those away. Yeah, we're going to be giving it away twice. Today is chapter 22. We're going to be giving away 2 Draco packages. And we're giving away 2 of them because we're going to do one when we get to 500 subscribers, which we are almost there. We need you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It's free, and that'll put you in that drawing. And then we're going to do it again when we get to 1,000. And if you do it now, you're still in, because every subscriber still counts for the next drawing too, and for any future contests that we do here on the channel. And we're going to do some more. We got some coming up. Just waiting to get to those subscriber numbers. You can help us out. You can share us to your friends. That's always a big help. Or, just tell people to come watch. That plays a big part. So, all right, well, let's get right to it. We're going to get to chapter 22 right now of Peaceful Warrior, the Canaan Bower Story. The living room hummed with a gentle warmth as Canaan pushed the door shut behind him. The familiar scent of home wrapped around him, a thin buffer against the whirlwind of attention he had become entangled in. He tossed his keys onto the entryway table, his voice announcing his arrival. "I'm home." From the kitchen, Kara's voice floated back, warm and sweet. "Hey, honey, dinner's almost ready. Will you grab your dad from the study?" "Sure," Canaan replied, pulling off his hoodie as he made his way down the hall. The house was still, the walls whispering of routine and nostalgia he desperately needed after everything. Reaching his father's study, he peeked in to find Troy engrossed in his computer, headphones covering his ears. Canaan grinned. Quietly, he stepped closer, then clasped his large hand gently on Troy's shoulder, startling him. Canaan lowered his head towards Troy's, touching his forehead against his father's. "I said, I'm home." Troy flinched, but his expression quickly softened into one of loving amusement. "Yes, you are." His father's eyes lit up. "Oh, I've got news to share." Canaan chuckled, teasing. "You got a new Corvette without me?" Troy scoffed, shaking his head. "You wish. No, it's bigger than that." When Troy didn't elaborate, Canaan gestured toward the kitchen. "Well, come on then. You'll just burst if you don't have an audience." Together they headed into the glowing kitchen, where Kara was setting the last dish on the table. Branson sat slouched in his seat, expression still guarded, as always. Troy practically bounded in. "All right, everyone, grab a seat." Branson rolled his eyes, but Canaan caught the small smirk tugging at his older brother's lips. Kara tilted her head, playful but indulgent. "Okay, Troy, we're all here. What's this big news you've been dying to share?" "Yeah," Branson muttered, adjusting his posture lazily. "Spill it, old man." Troy grinned triumphantly as he slid into his seat, his excitement radiating the sparks. "All right, family. You ready?" Kara groaned, throwing her hands in a mock frustration. "Troy, for heaven's sake, just tell us." Troy leaned forward, emphasizing his words with outstretched hands. "Dana White." Yes, the Dana White. Called me today. The room stilled as the name landed, unfamiliar yet charged with weight. Kara squinted in confusion as she processed it, while Branson arched an eyebrow, unimpressed as always. How did he even... Kara began. What did he want? Canaan asked, already suspecting the answer. Branson groaned, his voice sharp. What do you think? He probably wants to parade your hero status around, idiot. Troy ignored Branson's comment, carried forward by his excitement. He wants to fly us all out for the weekend in Vegas. The UFC is putting us up in a luxury hotel, giving us ringside tickets to the fights. His wide grin nearly split his face. They even lined up a couple of interviews for the following day. Can you believe it? Kara's hand slid to Canaan as she reached over to squeeze his arm, her voice soft with pride. Oh, sweetheart, this is incredible. Canaan forced a smile. That's great, Dad. But his stomach churned. The congratulations, the celebrations, the way people clung to his story of heroism like it was their own. It was wearing thin. He glanced toward the kitchen counter and spotted the football sitting in the corner, a silent reminder of the one time he hadn't lived up to those expectations. The weight on his chest felt heavier by the second. Yeah, sounds like fun. Branson's voice broke the silence, and Canaan turned his head in time to see his brother pass the bowl of potatoes back to the table. Think I'll pass. What? Canaan asked, his voice sharp with surprise. I have zero interest in watching men beat each other senseless in Vegas. Kara frowned, her tone laced with gentle reprimand. Branson? No, it's fine, Branson said. I'm happy for Canaan, really. But this is all a bit much, don't you think? Canaan wanted to protest and voice an argument himself, but he stopped. Branson's words hit a nerve. He hated that his brother had been sidelined, quietly pushed out of the spotlight while all the attention pivoted toward himself. He realized now how rarely others asked Branson how he was doing, and his quiet, introverted brother seemed resigned to the sidelined role that he hadn't earned or deserved. Canaan cleared his throat, trying to steady himself. You know, Dad, Branson can hold down the fort while we're out of town. Branson glanced across the table at Canaan as their eyes locked for a fleeting moment. It was a small gesture, but full of understanding. Thanks, Branson replied quietly, spooning another helping of potatoes onto his plate. Troy looked somewhat crestfallen, but nodded reluctantly. Well, if you're sure, Branson. Oh, I'm sure, Branson's voice hardened, the finality in his tone unmistakable. Kara cleared her throat, carefully redirecting the conversation. All right, then. What else should we do while we're out there? Canaan leaned back in his chair, watching his family talk about show tickets, fancy restaurants, and random excursions. Their words became background noise as he looked at Branson once more. His older brother didn't seem bitter, just detached. But to Canaan, the entire situation felt wrong. He was the star everyone was cheering for, yet deep down, he felt like he had failed the people he cared about the most. And so ends chapter 22 of Peaceful Warrior, the Canaan Bower Story. What do you think so far? Pretty good, huh? So they're getting ready to fly out to Vegas. You know who Dana White is, right? So if you do, drop down in the comments. Tell me that you know who Dana White is and tell me what he does and what organization he's with. You can probably guess he does fights, but tell me what kind. Also drop down in there, hashtag BeACanaan. I really want to fill these comments up with that. So if you're watching this video, please drop down there, hashtag BeACanaan. I want to get Canaan's story out there far and wide, and every time somebody types that in looking for it, they will find it. Also, don't forget Draco here with the silver star on his belly and his Storytime Adventure book. We'll be giving those away real soon as well. All you got to do is be subscribed. You should be subscribed anyway. It's a fun place to hang out. So go ahead and do that. We'll be getting back here real soon with chapter 23 of Peaceful Warrior, the Canaan Bower Story, here in the Reading Corner on Dreamers Defy.